Hello, welcome back to I'm With You, Bro.
I'm with you, bro.
It is our third episode, and we're excited to be here with you guys.
Yes, sir.
Um, we're thinking about relationships a lot. We've been talking a lot um, about what it looks like to be in a relationship with somebody for as long as we have, which has been 7 years now. And I want to say, what does a relationship after 7 years look like? For us, it's fighting over reading the coupons in the newspaper together and not separately.
It's funny.
Yeah, we're trying to be couponers, but the thing is with coupons is you have to go to multiple different stores, and I just don't have the energy for that.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of. You gotta really pay attention all the time. If not, you miss. It's a lot.
It
We
is.
never really dedicate too much to it. We do it every once in a while, but yeah.
But it did come up where I was about to look at the coupon book that we got, and Matthew's like, are you looking at that without me? And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what marriage looks like after 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but we've had some interesting times here with our daughter. Having kids is fun. And I was at work the other day, and I want you to share this story about what Zaya called you.
What she called me?
Yeah, what she called you. Remember when you were being annoying to her?
Oh, 'cause she kept asking me for bread, and I kept asking her what, and she was like, "Oh, you want bread?" I'm like, "What?" I said, "Daddy, I want bread." She's like, "What?" I'm like, "What?" It's like, "Daddy, you're being a butt." It was pretty funny.
It's so cute. I love her little comment. She's almost 3, and she is just like, well, actually, by the time this podcast comes out, it will probably be her birthday. But she's just so smart and so observant. It's crazy, but it's fun.
Yeah, you could definitely see personality being developed, even at just 2 years old. It's quite fascinating
Mhm.
how much she absorbs.
Yeah.
You can't say anything around her because you will hear it back later somehow. She knows, she pays attention to every word, everything, so we have to be super aware.
Tonight, her and her brother right now are sick with a cold or something, and we had a late lunch, granted, and they ate a big lunch. So by the time we ate dinner, they were just not really having it. And she barely touched her food, and I was like, well, I don't want to waste it, so I'm going to put it away. And I'm like, well, maybe you could have this for lunch tomorrow. And she's like, maybe. I just thought that was so funny. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I know.
Just the things coming out of her mouth surprise me sometimes. I'm just like, wow, like you really just absorbed that. But yeah, so
It's been amazing. Even her brother has been developing on his own. He fights. He's been more brave now that he'll just go take whatever he wants from her. Or his older brother. Like, he doesn't, he's getting way more confident.
oh, you know what? Today, when I was vacuuming, he like Zaya was running away from the vacuum, and he came. He was like walked up to the vacuum and put his toe on vacuum,
Like,
and
I'm
then
not
just
scared of this.
and then
That's
just
funny.
walked away. I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a boy thing to do.
I want to do whatever his sister's doing too. He has to be right wherever his sister's at. That's
Yeah,
so funny.
yeah, yeah. This he's been interesting now that he these past couple of days he hasn't been feeling good and he doesn't want to sit down in his seat and eat or drink. Like if I have to give him his little cough medicine, I have to put it in a cup, mix it with juice, and have him sit on my lap for him to drink it. He's being so particular. But yeah, he's like if Zaya is sitting on the couch eating a snack, well he wants the same snack and wants to sit next to her on the couch.
Yep, there's no way she's having a snack and he's not having one.
Yeah,
He has to have it,
yeah.
whatever
I'm
she's
trying to
doing.
steal it today. I don't know if I should share this because it's kind of gross. But Zaya wanted an apple, so I gave her an apple and I gave Isai a slice of the apple. Well, he ate it and he wanted more. Well, because they have these colds, they have runny noses. He took a bite of the apple. He put his nose on it and his boogers come on the apple. I'm like that. I'm like, okay, let me just give you your own apple at this point, because that's
Yeah, that is gross. That's kids.
like, Saya, that was kind of you sharing your apple with your snotty brother. Yes, yes. Kids are funny. They are the joy of our lives right now. They bring us so much joy and so awesome. I went to a new church, and during part of the worship service, I just took Isai with me, just to check it out and see if the other kids would do okay. And Isai, they did a prayer circle over the kids, and during the prayer circle, I actually forgot to tell you this, he was raising his hand and like worshiping. Like I don't know if it's because he saw everyone else doing it, but he just like just while I was holding him, but he just like raised his little hand. It was so cute. It was so precious. But yeah, we wanted to talk a little bit about relationships. One of the questions that comes to mind is in the beginning when we started off dating, you know, like when you finally like find somebody that you like and you decide, you know what, I want to date this person. I don't want to lose them. And there's certain things about them that really draw you to them. And so my question is, what were those things? And well, let's just start with that. What were the things in the beginning that drew you to me? putting your husband on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The things that comes to mind is I don't know, just your mental space where you're at mentally. Just based on the conversation we were having. Um, I had a lot to do with it actually. You were stimulating me mentally. We were having very good, deep conversation, so it was almost like I wanted to keep that going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did though. It never stopped.
Yeah, yeah, that was one of the major things for me.
Yeah.
Um, Other than that, I don't know. You know, things progressed along the way, and there's other things that, of course, I fell for, but in the beginning, to me, that was like the major thing that stuck out.
Yeah. Well, that's the beauty of our relationship is it started off with this like mental, spiritual, emotional connection before anything else. So it was just really sacred and really special.
Well, yeah, we weren't like intending to like be a partner, right? We weren't intending to be married. We were just literally just having conversation just as people. And within that, it just continued and continued and continued. And next thing you know, we're like, oh man, I think I like this person. You know what I mean? Like,
Like, oh wow, we're like really vibing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I feel like our relationship is like we got into a car with no destination and we just started driving. And as you know, when you're in a car with somebody for so long, you're talking to them. And so we're just kind of like along for the ride, talking, getting to know each other, all of this. And then eventually we're just kind of like, oh, wow, like I don't really want to get out of this car. I think I want to keep traveling with you through this earth time. Because there are times where, you meet people and you might drive with them for a little bit and then you get out because things didn't work out or whatever. But yeah, it was not like that for us. We got closer and closer the further we got. So I guess the next part of the question is, has it changed from how you see me in the beginning to how you see me now?
No, it doesn't change at all. I mean, I know we've been together for as long as we've been, but it doesn't feel like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing much has changed.
So for me, what? I don't understand.
Yeah, it's just funny.
Why is it funny?
Yeah, it just came out of nowhere. So for me, continue.
No.
What?
So for me, he was annoying.
What was it? Get out of here.
In the beginning of our relationship, Matthew, I don't know, he never laughed at his previous relationships until me. Now, I used to call him an amateur laugher because he always get hiccups.
Get out of here.
And in the beginning, also of a relationship, I'm spilling the beans. Matthew was never ticklish, but now I know all his tickle spots. Yeah, I do.
What's your point?
But no, for real though, in the beginning. Stop! Stop laughing at me.
I'm just messing with you.
So in the beginning of our relationship, I think I also felt the same way with our connection and stuff, but he was just the biggest draw for me was his respect for me. There was a lot of times in my life where I had guys who didn't respect me and my boundaries and my morals and how I felt about things, and he was the first guy that respected how I felt and what I felt comfortable with and what I didn't, and that was like a big thing for me. That was one of the big things that I noticed was he was respectful. He was compassionate. He was very selfless. So it wasn't about what he wanted, but about, am I feeling safe? Am I feeling comfortable? Especially in the beginning, like we were just friends and stuff. And I've been friends with guys who made me feel uncomfortable. So like it was definitely in the position we were in could have happened but didn't because he has so much self-control. And I really respect that in him. So just getting to know his heart for things and his mindset was really awesome, and that's why I did not want to get out of the car. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna camp out here for the rest of my life.
That's funny.
um, and yeah, after 7 years, it has not changed. She just continues to grow more selfless and more self control, and he gets better and better. He's maturing like a fine wine. So yeah, that is, um, you know, some of the things that we connected on and saw, and that's advice that we would give out is connection, like a spiritual, emotional, mental connection with somebody is so important when you're dating or getting to know somebody, because if you can't connect there, like, do you even know the person, you know?
Yeah. I would suggest do might sound silly, but do the love language test. I think it actually works.
What'd you say in the beginning?
Said it might sound silly,
Oh.
but the love language test, I think, actually, it helps. Just it doesn't, give you a total grasp on who the person is, but it gives you an idea of what they're like and don't like and things like that.
Yeah.
Also, like, I don't know, like, talk. And, like, I feel like a lot of the issue is people go into relationships or go into dating without really knowing what they want um, clearly, whether it be a relationship, marriage, whatever that may be. And I feel like when you're in those open conversations in the beginning of a dating, you should be able to say what you want and say what you're looking for and be honest about it. That way you would both like really figure out, if this is what you want to do or not want to do. I mean, we're humans. We need each other. We need people. And more people like to say, well, we don't, I could do it on my own, aloners. We need someone. Like, I'm sorry, everyone needs somebody. It's just how it works. So you being able to communicate that to whosoever you're dating, like, hey, this is what I need to make me happy. And also, you also have to be able to compromise in the same. There's no perfect situation. There's no perfect person. So some things you might want, you might not get. Some things you might have to compromise for. But you have to realize what's valuable and what's not. You know.
Yeah.
If your wife takes care of the family and takes care of the kids and all that stuff, and she doesn't get to, you don't get to go partying or whatever you may like to do, and she doesn't like to do that. That's a compromise. That's what's valuable to you. Is partying more valuable, or having a wife that's actually wanting to be at home and actually be with the kids? You have to figure out what's actually valuable to you, and work that out and compromise for what works best for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sacrifice, but it's a positive sacrifice because you're giving up maybe ways of your youth so that you could grow up and mature into, better jobs. Or, it's like when you're younger, like, you might be like, oh, working as a waitress or working at McDonald's is not that bad. But then when you're 40 years old, you might not want to be doing that job. You might want to be in a better position. So there, it's just like there's things that we need to put off.
Well, I feel like, to me, it goes back to, like, I don't know, I feel like mothers, and I know a lot of that is by the wayside now, but like mothers need to start teaching their daughters young how to be wise and like, how to be women. Like, you know what I mean? Just so dads got to start teaching their sons how to be men, because
Mm-hmm.
and I know like a women like to like, oh, I'll work until I'm like my 30s and then I have a kid, and that's not realistic thinking. To be honest, like you should be married when you're younger. Both men and women should be married when they're younger. That way you could build your life together. When you take all this time to do whatever you're doing, you can't grow, you can't build. You both have a lot of baggage that you're gonna bring with you by the time you're that age. It makes things even more complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, people need to learn how to be better husbands, better wives from younger, and that comes from being an example in the household. It comes from making sure that you don't have broken homes and wives aren't leaving their husbands and husbands aren't leaving their wives, and working things out and whatever the case may be. So kids could see that and continue that
Mm-hmm.
and not have all these broken homes.
Yeah, it's, breaking the generational curses, things that we have experienced in our childhood that we don't want to continue on for our kids. And, we've had to do a lot of that. And, to just wake up and say, you know what, I don't want my kids to struggle like I did, or I don't want my kids to feel this way like how I did, or, whatever it be, making that decision to say, I'm going to cut that off with me. And so that my kids can be a step ahead once they get into the world.
Yes, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
And you both need to have that mentality, because both the mother and the father play an important role. They're both important,
Mm-hmm.
both of them.
Yeah.
Not equal, but important. Makes a difference.
Yeah, there's studies done of, taking men out of the household. The children become more like, they're more likely, like women are more likely to get pregnant young, um, and then the boys are more likely to get end up getting into trouble
End up
because,
in jail and
yeah, because men set
yeah.
the tone for the household, especially like from our point of view. Men are the head of the house. The Bible talks about the man is the direct connection to God. He is the head, and so it whether you believe in the Bible or not, there's proven fact that men do have a significant role in the household, because women grow up thinking, this is how men should treat me, this is how men are supposed to act. And boys grow up, this is how I'm supposed to act. This is how I'm supposed to treat women. Think about all these.
And I feel like a lot of stuff is media driven too.
Mm,
Like a lot of it is like, what you see in stories on TV, and a lot of like, stuff you hear. And so you got to look at your life and what you see around you. Like, there are good people out there. There are good men out there. There are bad men out there. I'm not saying anyone's perfect. That's not what I'm saying. But there are good people. Um, Stop being um, infiltrated by the noise of media and movies and all that, and people don't even realize the influence it's actually having on them. They're thinking that's reality when it's not reality.
mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, that was actually one of my questions, is what is the how does the world influence dating and marriage these days? And a big one I've noticed so much since we've gotten together, because our mindset has always been unity. We're one. We've joined together. What's mine is yours. What yours is mine. I I hate seeing like posts and stuff online where it's like, oh, I'm mad at my husband, I'm gonna keep myself from him, or I'm mad at my husband, so I'm not gonna cook for him like I normally do, or clean or wash his clothes when I'm doing the laundry, or it's like, you guys are one. Like, what are you doing? And even just like some people go into relationships and everything's separate. You do your laundry, I'll do mine. You have your finances, I have mine. You have a house, I'll have mine. Or you have a car, I'll have a car. Like it.
To me, you already went in with one foot out the door. When you
Yeah.
have those, oh, we can't share everything. You gotta have yours. I gotta have mine type mentality. I could understand if you both come with an agreement. You handle this and you handle that. That's a whole different story. But when it comes to like, oh, this is yours and this is mine, that's when it comes. It gets really, really complicated.
Well,
That
yeah.
shouldn't be anywhere in a marriage. That's like having a fight within yourself. It
Mhm.
doesn't make any sense. Like,
Yeah.
what's yours? No, it doesn't. It's what's yours is mine. That's just how it is. Period.
Yeah.
When you bring in that conflict, it's like having self conflict. You have to be able to fight through that and be able to let go and be able to realize, yes, we are the same person. You made that vow.
Mhm. Yeah. Because yeah, it goes on so much, and I feel like it's one foot out the door because they're like, okay, well, if we were to separate, this is still gonna be mine, and you're gonna come with what you brought to the table, kind of
Well, yeah,
thing.
and a lot of people like go into relationships like with like a safety net, like getting married. Like I need to have a safety net. I need to have something in case something goes bad.
But
To
it's
me,
like,
that thought alone is already like you're setting yourself up for something bad. You know
was
what
like,
I mean?
why is that? Why do you feel like you have to have? Why can't you jump in fully into a relationship? And I think it comes all the way back to what we were talking about in the beginning, which is, did you even know them? Did you connect with them mentally, spiritually, and emotionally before you just went and had sex with them and decided, oh, they're attractive, I'm going to get married to them now? Or
I
they
think
have money, I'm going to marry them now?
Yeah, I think part of it has to do. I think part of it also has to do with just like I said, the media and just like the outlets we have they're promoting these kind of behaviors. They're promoting marriage doesn't work. They're promoting everybody gets divorced. They're promoting this stuff. This is all that's promoted around us. So even if someone do find someone that they care about and do find someone that they want to pour all their feelings into, and they feel like they know, they're still hesitant just because of the noise that they hear around from around them. You know what I mean? Even their friends.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that because they'll take all your money. Don't do that. All you know what I mean? They already have that whispers in their ear
Mm-hmm.
without them even being conscious about it. Sometimes, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So they're like, no, I don't want to do this. I'll sign a prenup. I don't like what's the point of even getting married if you're gonna have all the stipulations? It doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense. If
Yeah.
you're gonna have it, don't do it. Just don't. It doesn't.
Yeah, just
It
don't
defeats
do
the
it.
whole point.
It does. It does. Because, that's already saying, you know what, I don't trust that you are who you say you are. And yeah, it's a big deal to marry somebody, but if you're really taking the time beforehand to get to know that person, spending time talking with them, spending time with them, getting to know their quirks, their likes, their dislikes, their views on whatever it be that they care about, that they're passionate about. Because it's like, if you don't know them and those problems come up, then you're going to be blindsided, and you're going to be like, oh, well, that's why I had them sign the prenup. This isn't going to work out. Well,
Oh yeah.
what happened to actually being married and for forever? I mean, there's couples that I used to work with, a lot of older people, and they were in the worst marriages. The worst marriages, and they stayed together. I feel like people get divorced because for the littlest, stupidest things now. Oh, he doesn't make enough money, I'm gonna leave him. Like, what?
That's
Like,
the issue,
what?
right? The sanctity of marriage, it's like they're watering it down. Like it's
Yeah.
being watered down. This is why people are so easy to say yes and still have those stipulations because it's watered down. A lot of people don't even know the true meaning of having an oath in front of God and in front of people in your lives that you love. That's a major thing. You're having an oath in front of everyone that you love and in front of God, saying that you will take this person to be with for the rest of your life. It's not something to be taken lightly, but it's just, TV, all that stuff. Like, people just, it just makes it easy for people to make those decisions. And it's sad because it just shows that no one's really thinking for themselves, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's a lot of influence um, in the media. So another question is, how would you advise people who deal with temptation in their relationships?
Temptation, like cheating?
Um, I guess any kind of temptation.
Well, temptation in general is hard. Um, and there are plenty of kinds of temptations. There's food, there's, the obvious sex, um, TV, video games, whatever you want to name it. People have their own temptations and addictions. It's a matter of what's hurting you, what your agreements are in your relationship, and if it's hurting your relationship. Like I mentioned, sugar and stuff, that might not be hurting your relationship unless you're, obese, or and it's probably health
Overindulging,
wise, or
yeah.
like, certain things it's not. But to me, certain temptations, uh it's a matter of just like, I don't know, being disciplined, keeping away from it. Um, Alcoholic, you tell them to stay away from the bar. It's like anything else. If you're addicted to porn, start to stay away from, watching that kind of stuff the best you can. Um,
Yeah.
and talk about it too. Like, especially if it's you in a relationship, talk about it. Like, things like porn and stuff, when it's kept a secret, it's easy for it to fester. But once you
That's true.
tell your partner about it, it's harder for you to, um, to continue that. Um, but yeah, a lot of it is just creating routines, to distract you from those, because a lot of times when you have no time in your hand is when you go back to those things, right? When you don't have a lot of time to when you don't have time to do anything, or you're bored or whatever, is when you usually revert to your fleshly pleasures. But if you keep yourself busy, find a new hobby, read books, find things that you're mostly into, working out, whatever, it usually steer you away from those kind of temptations that you may be struggling with.
Yeah.
Whatever that may be for you. I mean, I said video games too, but things like that could help someone. It depends on the situation. If it's
Yeah.
hurting your relationship, though, you probably shouldn't do it. But, at least find a balance, at least. Not shouldn't do it, but find a balance that works out for you and your partner. But
Yeah, so I'd mentioned because I had talked about this earlier with you, and I was like, I'm gonna wait and tell you on the podcast. But in my devotional, it was called "The Set of the Sail," and it was talking about if you go down to the port, the wind is blowing in one direction, and even so, you will see ships sailing with the wind, either with the wind or against it, and you can stand up. It's referring to temptation, so you could stand up to temptation, but it's up to you and your will. And there is an old poem that said, one ship sails east and one ship sails west, and with the self same wind that blows. It's the set of the sail and not the gale that determines which way it will go. So we have to, what it was pretty much saying was we have to figure out what our motives are when it comes to temptation. So, are we going to let the wind roll us as we are the ship? Or are we going to be the sailors of our mind and determine which way we're going to go, whether we're going to go with the wind or go against it? Because it's easy, obviously, to go with the wind and just flow, but that could leave you crashing.
Well,
So,
yeah, I mean, what is the definition of temptation? Is the desire to do something, especially something wrong or unwise. So, like, you got to you got to redirect those desires. You
mm-hmm.
have to, fill it in with something more positive rather than something that's harming your life or your relationship.
Yeah, and it's a spiritual war of our minds. I mean, the Bible talks about transforming our minds, not being conformed to the world. We need to renew our mind. But the thing that is interesting in the world, you'll hear people saying, follow your heart, just do whatever your heart feels. And the Bible though says, let's see, it says the heart is deceitful above all things and it's extremely sick. Who can understand it fully and know its secret motives? That's in Jeremiah 17:9. And I feel like it's true because your heart, you have to be so careful of what you're putting in your heart, whether it's what you're listening to or what you're seeing. If you're listening to a lot of certain things, that's going to be your thoughts. And then what happens is in Matthew 12:34, it says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So what happens is you start manifesting all these, whatever it is that like if if your problem is, say, cursing, you want to stop cussing, but then you listen to a bunch of songs with cuss words and you watch a bunch of TV shows with cursing and your friends all curse. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think it's going to be easy to stop cussing? No, because that's what you're putting in. And what you're putting in is what's gonna, what, like Jesus says, it's not what you put in, what you put in your mouth that defiles you, it's what comes out that defiles you. So as you're listening and thinking about it, because like you could hear it, but it's like as you're thinking about it and it's dwelling in your heart, then that's what's gonna come out. So it says in Proverbs 4:23 to watch over your heart with all diligence, for from it flow the springs of life. Because you could either have death or life in the power of the tongue, and it's from the heart that comes to the tongue, and you could have death or life. So you definitely got to be careful of what you're putting in, and that's so important and vital for your relationships, to not be influenced by the world, because what you're putting in, your expectations, your mindset, your motives for your relationship, that's what's going to come out. Whatever you're dwelling on, if you're feeding yourself with the words of the well, it's not just that you're feeding yourself, but if you keep listening to it and dwelling on it, because it's not that you see it, but it's that you're dwelling on the words that the people speak and the influencers speak on social media. That's what's gonna come out. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's it for now. But thank you all for tuning in. And anything else to say?
I'm with you, bro.
and, and don't forget, I'm with you, bro. All right. Well, thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.